alkaline, on the road, anytime. What's your name, girl? What's your sign?
Hello guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a minute since I have posted, obviously, to my channel. If you guys follow me on social media like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, you guys would have gotten updates along the way. But man, these last 6-7 months have been hectic. I've learned a lot, not even just about the car, but like myself, like life's been crazy. You gotta take it good with the bad, you just gotta keep going. And yeah, it has been an adventure. This summer has been the craziest, busiest summer I've ever had. Enough about me, enough about that. Let's focus on the main reason why we're here, which is the Stang. I know obviously you guys can see I got the Stang behind me. Oh my gosh. I have so much to cover with you guys. It's only been 6 months, but it also feels like it's been a lot longer. It's end of October here, it's raining. This whole next week is gonna be like freezing every night. I'm sure we're getting snow here real soon, but honestly, I don't even care. The car is done, it runs. We're getting tuning done hopefully here soon. Today, tomorrow, and the next week before snow flies and it's freezing and it's too cold to even have the car out. Because the main thing I'll be fighting is, if you guys don't know, I'm tuned by Lund and they need wide open throttle pulls, and when it's cold out, the car is not gonna wanna hook. We're making good power. Let's just backtrack. So the last thing you guys saw me post was back in, I wanna say like June. And at that point in time, I had a block, I had heads, I had a power adder that was on the way. Since then, we got the car here. We got the motor assembled, the motor's in the car, the power adder's on the car, the fuel system, everything works, and the car runs. But it wasn't always that easy. I have a Gen 3 short block out of an S550 Mustang, 2018 in particular, brand new from Ford. It came from Detroit. I got my hands on a set of Gen 2 heads, and I'm not kidding when I say this. I literally got the last Gen 2 heads in the nation. Like, I'm not kidding. They're in a national back order, and I made so many phone calls to AutoNation Ford across the US trying to get my hands on a set. And there was one side that was readily available. I wanna say that was passenger, and the driver side Gen 2 head you could not find anywhere, or vice versa. Long story short, I did end up finding the side that was impossible to find. I had to pay some markup on that. Came to a conclusion I needed the Gen 2 heads. They flow so much better than the Gen 1 heads, and being a turbo setup now, your flow is very important. Like, whereas if I was supercharged, I wouldn't really care so much about flow because it's not driven off of exhaust gases, it's driven off of a pulley. The big thing I reused was the cams, and I want to say that's about the cams and faders. It was really about the only thing that essentially got reused. So starting at the block, starting at the bottom essentially. Once I received my short block at my local dealership here, loaded up into a buddy's truck actually. So I'm in Gage's garage right now. This is his bike over here. We loaded the block, it was in a crate. We loaded in the back of his truck. We unloaded it here, and then literally we tore it apart. We took the pistons out of it. We gapped the rings for boost, because that was, we don't know for sure, but we're almost positive that's what failed on my last motor. We did the oil change and there was ring chunks in the oil. Never a good sign. But long story short, we're almost certain that's what it was. We tore it down, but we didn't take like the internals out of it because quite frankly, we didn't care. We're kind of fighting time at that point. We had a Gen 3 short block out of S550. We gapped the ring, we studded the block. We got billet, oil pump gears, and crank sprocket. All the essentials for boost, honestly. And then moving on to the heads, we installed the PAC 1234X racing valve springs. Especially being a turbo car, I'm gonna be fighting valve float on the stock springs, so I had to upgrade those. Valve float should not be an issue. Moving on to the power adder, I went with On 3. Some people hate on them, some people love them. I'm personally one that I would say loves them. It is a cheaper kit on the market, don't get me wrong. Why would I spend double the price on a bougie kit that's gonna make the same power as the On 3 kit that's half the price? Come on, what's the point? If there's certain things you don't like on the On 3 kit, you can upgrade them. And the biggest thing is like waist gates, but honestly, the On 3 gates nowadays are pretty stout as they are. And other than that, I mean, I'd upgrade the turbo, it's like the biggest thing. And the only way I would upgrade this turbo, I'd go to like a precision, is if this turbo does not hit my power goals. For those of you guys who do not know, I'm looking to make a 1,000 wheel, and I want a 9-second quarter-mile pass in a freaking stick car, because quite frankly, that'd be damn impressive. It's literally gonna be a street car. It's gonna be a roll racer. It's gonna be a fun cruise car. Like, my goal with this build is longevity. I'm not looking to go out. I'm not looking to break into the 8s. I'm not looking to make stupid power. I'm going for longevity. I want to have fun with the car, but at the same time, I want to enjoy it and I want it to last. I don't want to build another motor next summer. I already know what you guys are gonna be asking, or what you're thinking probably is, are you dropping a video on like the whole build series and the whole process? And to be honest, I'm not. The whole process of building this motor, which literally happened in this garage, I'm not even kidding. Everything happened in this garage. Like, I got the block, we tore it apart in here on an engine stand, gap the rings, put the pistons back in on an engine stand, instead of the heads, put the heads on the engine stand. Like everything happened in here. But don't get me wrong, it's not all me. I'm not trying to sound like conceited with myself, because it was not just me. I had some amazing help along the way from some amazing friends, and I think one of the biggest helps was Orby. He's out on the East Coast. He has a 1,000 horsepower S197 as well. The only difference between my car and his car really is he has a Gen 2 block, I have a Gen 3 block, and he has a nice older JPC kit. I have an On3 turbo kit, but the only difference really. But man, if I had any questions on like torque specs, I'd hit him up. Dude, he answered all my questions. He was so patient with me, so understanding, and I'm forever grateful for that. Like seriously, I hope we can link up one day, man, like down in Myrtle Beach, you know, Mustang Week, or down in Texas 2K. That'd be freaking dope, man, and that's my goal with him. Besides Orby and his big help, I mean, even though he wasn't here, he was a huge help, but like besides that, I had Sam, I had Seth, I had Paul, I had Gage, Darren, Noah, and so many other people too that have helped and contributed in like little, like even just little ways. I don't care if you lent me a tool or if you spent hours in the garage with me, you helped, and that matters. And if I didn't say your name, guys, I'm probably forgetting, but thank you. You know who you are. If you contributed at all, thank you. This would not be possible at all without all of the help that I received. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when this thing blew up, it was like the most daunting thing ever. I knew it had to happen, and I was literally scared. Like the car sat. I think the car blew up, I wanna say it was either end of February or beginning of March, and the car sat until I got back from vacation, like end of April, beginning of May. And that's when I finally decided to tear into the car, and I was like, dude, I got to do something. Like I had to do it. And I was like, I have to do it if I want this thing running yet this year. And then I got so motivated when I was down in Florida. I was hanging out with Manny, Andy, Gabe, and those guys down there, and they have Stangs. And I met them a long time ago, but long story short, like I was cruising around with those guys and hanging out with those guys and seeing their cars, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I came back that same day. The same day I got back to Minnesota, like I sold my Belgian wheels, I sold my drag pack, and I really started parting out the car essentially with parts I was not gonna be reusing. Like I sold my headers, my wheels, like I mentioned, my entire exhaust system, really, for that matter, the entire supercharger kit. Essentially parted ways with anything I was not reusing, and that helped fund a decent amount of this build. But there was a ton of other expenses that went into this, and man, it was not cheap. And I pride myself on saying like I did this myself in a garage. Like some people are like, oh, why don't you just bring it to a shop? You had it done in 2 weeks. And it's like, yes, but I was also on a budget. Like I went through a lot this year, and quite frankly, like I said, I was on a budget. In all honesty, if this car would have lasted all summer on my Paxton setup, I wanted to buy a built short block this winter coming up here and a bougie turbo kit. That was my plan. Like honestly, that was my plan, which car didn't last that long. So here I was stuck on a budget and trying to make as much power as I can reliably. I think another big reason why my Gen 1 didn't last, I shouldn't even say that, because that thing lasted me a year. It owed me nothing. I beat the fuck out of that car, man. I was on pump gas 91. Very sketchy, especially on like a boosted application. And no, I wasn't running crazy boost or anything, but it's still sketchy. Like it's not safe. And in order to battle that and accommodate this time around, I have an entire 4 Innovations fuel system, a return style fuel system. It's got a fuel pressure regulator, billet rails, nice big lines, AN fittings everywhere, and this car is gonna be strictly on E85. I don't even plan on getting a flex tune for this car. If I'm going out to Mexico, I'm just gonna have tanks with me and gas jugs. I'm just gonna be prepared. Like I'm always gonna have good E on me. I've spent so much money onto this car, it's not like I'm just gonna half-ass anything now. Honestly, I'm done running people that I've already ran before. Like I'm not wasting my time on people that aren't gonna be competitive, if that makes sense. Like don't get me wrong, there's a few people I wanna run yet. I'm more so gonna be focused on people I haven't ran yet, people I haven't seen out yet, people that I know are making good power. And ultimately that's what I'm going for. I'm not gonna run the same people. I'm not going out to the same meets every single weekend in the summer. Like I'm finding new people, I'm bridging out, and I'm like I said, I'm trying to bring you guys new content and honestly see how this car fares up against other people. So now that I told you guys like what's done to this car and whatnot, let's backtrack a little bit. So after the car blew up, after I got back from Florida, after I started parting stuff out, we decided to tear into my Gen 1. We started with an oil change, which man, that was hard to see. It was full of metallic chunks and even chunks of ring material. It was bad. We tore it down to like the bare short block, but like I said before, we did not take the internals out of it. We just, like I said, we're kind of on a time crunch, and quite frankly, after seeing ring material in the oil, it's like, the thing is toast. Like at that point, I don't care what piston failed. All I know is that, you know, a couple of them did. And the reason I say a couple of them, I actually compression tested the car before we like tore into it and drained the oil and all that. And it was 2 cylinders on the driver's side bank. I can't remember exactly what ones they were. Like the whole passenger side bank, solid. The driver's side bank, so it was like 75, 150, and then I think it was like 110 and then 150 again. And it should have been around 150 to 140, somewhere in there. And those two that were really low in compression are obviously the two that failed. All right, guys, so enough of like breaking it down and giving you guys a whole like talk about this. Let's move on to the car. Let's see what's new. Let's look at the setup. Let's start it up. Let's see how it sounds and ultimately just share everything with you guys. So starting in the rear here, as you can tell, we have no exhaust tips, boys. And if you guys know, I'm on a turbo setup. That means, where's this thing coming out at? Where's the exhaust coming out at? Is it coming out the hood, the fender, the bumper? Is it dumped underneath the car? We'll get to that here real shortly. But come up on the next thing. Like I said, I sold my Belgian wheels. They were gonna be pointless on my new setup. This car's gonna be a drag pack 24/7. I essentially sold my Belgians and my rear drag pack that I had, which was like some cheap SVEs. I sold those 6 wheels. That got me a set of welds. That's never gonna make sense to me how I parted ways with 6 wheels. I ended up with 2. But man, they speak for themselves. Just look at them. And I know the car is filthy right now, but God. Whew. Wheels are 15x10, tires are a 275, 60, 15. These are actually the same radials I had before. I am in need of some new ones, but for now, for data logging purposes and getting this car dialed in, they will definitely do the trick for this year. And then, like I said, I sold my Belgians, so up front, I actually am on the wheels that I bought the car with down in Oklahoma. They are actually Boss 302 wheels. They're not that bad anymore. The black and the machining kind of goes with the welds. So we're gonna have some front runners coming. Let my bank account catch a break here, and then next season, we're gonna worry about making her look even better and going really fast. So let's go on to the interior here. Ain't much changed in here, except for the fact that the rear, I know it's kind of dark to see, but you guys, the rear is gutted dang near. Ain't much changed, but the whole rear is pretty much gutted. And to be honest, it's more or less gonna stay like this, for now at least. You know, nothing in the trunk really. Got my bougie FC3 4 Innovations fuel controller over there. Nothing for y'all to see, we'll cover that up. But man, moving on to the fuel system part actually. Gosh, I know it's dark in here. But anyways, right in there is my billet for Innovations fuel hat. We have a dual pump system. The pumps I'm running, believe it or not, they are dual Hellcat pumps. They're dual 525s. One is running nonstop. The second one is activated a boost on a Hobbs switch, which is extremely dope. Ain't much changed in here. If you guys remember from the last time, I mean, I still got my gauge pod hooked up. Everything in here works too. Like we got boost, we got fuel pressure, we got oil pressure, we got all the necessities. And we still got a full interior up here with all the creature comforts, leather, we got heat. We should have AC. I won't know till next summer when I get it filled, but we should have AC as well. What more could you really ask for than like a 9-second, 4-digit street car with AC? Come on, man. So moving on to the important part. Go up here under the hood right quick for y'all. I don't think y'all are ready for this. I really don't. Here goes nothing. Yup. Yeah, so this is the On3. This is 7675. It is a billet CNC wheel. Still got the Boss 02 intake manifold. This thing is not even ported, which I wish I would have done, but I can do it over the winter. I might even go with a different manifold. This thing still, it looks stock. Like, it does not look crazy at all. It really doesn't. besides like the turbo. Like, if you just look at the motor aside, like, it does not look crazy at all, but it is. We got a fresh, brand new Gen 3 block. We got Gen 2 heads. And obviously, like I said, we reused the cams. That was about it. And the intake manifold. One thing I'm super happy I did was I had my manifolds and the entire hot side ceramic coated or Cerakote, whatever you want to call it. And then obviously I had the cold side of the turbo powder matched to the car. To answer your guys' questions about the exhaust, let's get right into it. So obviously you can tell we got a downpipe that comes out of the turbo, goes straight down. And here we go. It's coming out the bumper. And it is actually surprisingly quiet. It is way quieter than it was before, straight piped, essentially. I'm super happy with it. The noises are unbeatable. And when you're driving, there's like next to no drone. I mean, it's loud, don't get me wrong, but 60 at 6 gear, it's not too bad. I do gotta do some of this jank ass location, my ECU. It's just kind of literally pinned to my fuse box, cold side piping, and my radiator piping. But yeah, we're gonna leave that for now. We'll worry about that later. Move on to the fuel system. These are the 4 billet rails. You can see the steel braided line right here. That's my feed. And my return actually goes around to my regulator right over here. The injectors I went with the ID 1300Xs. They are crazy loud. Man, oh man, am I ready to hopefully hit my goals with this setup. That's all I'm looking. That's all I'm looking for is to hit, like I said, you know, 1,000 wheel or plus. We're gonna find out if I'm able to hit my goals or not with this setup. This turbo might be kind of maxing out around the 1,000 wheel mark. It should make north of 900 easily. But ultimately, I'm not gonna go with a bigger turbo. If this doesn't hit my goals, I'm just gonna go with a better turbo. Essentially probably like a precision. Size is never really gonna change, but you can get the same size turbo and the precision turbo, and I've seen guys make crazy power. So yes, I'm hoping to hit my goals with this. We'll see. And like I said, even if I make 950, 960, 900, I'm not gonna be upset at all. But another thing that's crazy about this setup is I'm gonna have torque, which is gonna be damn near dead even with the horsepower. And coming from a Paxton, I had all the horsepower, all the top end, and I had no torque. And I'm gonna have torque and horsepower. And this will take some getting used to, man. You literally cannot beat a turbo Coyote. Like, the sounds are unbeatable, the torque is unbeatable. And man, at the end of the day, it's a turbo car. Like, you can turn that bitch up on the fly. So I do have to get a nice electronic boost controller yet, which I'm gonna do. But that's probably gonna wait till next year. Like I said, my goal for this year is to get this thing dialed in on gate pressure. That's all I'm looking for. And yeah, we'll go from there. But I suppose y'all want to hear this thing fire up? Because I know I do. I don't think you guys will hear enough since my car's running, but honestly, the fuel pump is pretty freaking loud. Like I said, I do have 2 pumps, but one's only running all the time. The other one's only activated by boost. So I don't know how to explain it, but like when you turn the car on to let the system prime before you start it, that pump is just whining like crazy. I would love to take y'all on a ride today, a little ride along, let you guys see all the noises, but honestly, like I said, it is raining. It is crappy out. And rain and these rear tires are not gonna mix too well. There's no reason to risk it. No reason to rush it. I'm not in a rush at all. And also I found out the hard way around here that in the wintertime, the ethanol content drops quite a bit. We do have E85 like literally 5 minutes from here. But in the wintertime, it's like E70, which is no bueno with this car in boost. I can putz around on E70, it's not gonna hurt it, but wide open throttle pulls in that are not gonna end up well. So, let me show you what I picked up. Yes, sir. We ain't taking no shortcuts here. And also, literally, this is the friggin' cherry picker we used to pick the motor out, put it in, and that is the engine stand where this motor was completely assembled. Man, it feels crazy. I don't even know what to say. Well guys, I don't have much more to add to this. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you guys are looking to build a Frankenstein Coyote, like a 3-2-1 build or even like a 3-1 build, whatever you're looking to do, if you guys have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram, you can comment on here, I would be happy to help. And also there's a few other guys too that are happy to help. And we actually have a Facebook, I'm sorry, we don't have a Facebook page yet, but we do have an Instagram page where you guys, if you have any questions, you can DM us. We have like a group. If you want to be added to that, let me know, DM me. You either have to have a Frankenstein build or you have to be interested in doing one. But yeah, guys, I think that doesn't do it for now. I don't want to go too crazy in depth. And like I said, you guys stay tuned. We got a lot of big stuff coming. The next video you guys are probably going to see is going to be my first reaction, my first raw reaction to a wide open throttle pull. The tuner needs it. And he's needed it for a couple days now, but it's been wet and raining like this, and quite frankly, I'm not gonna go out and do it. Like I said, it's gotta dry out, it's gotta be dry, so it's either gonna be tonight, I'm filming that, or tomorrow, and that'll be the next video you guys are gonna see. A little ride along, you guys will get some raw footage on that, and go from there. Like I said, I don't wanna spoil too much. We don't have a lot of season left here yet. I'm definitely not gonna make it out. I'm not getting any runs in this year, but yeah, y'all stay tuned. You're not gonna be disappointed, and take over 2022.
I'm thinking too much, drinking a little too much.